So, I'm addicted to dopamine.
Sounds good.
I tend to always take the path of least resistance. I wake up, hit my snooze multiple times to get more sleep, and once I finally muster up the courage to take on the day, I go straight to my phone to engage in mindless scrolling. Why do I do this? I tend to constantly check my phone throughout the day for no reason whatsoever. I wish I could say that I do it out of boredom, but most of the time I don't even realize I'm even doing it. It's like I'm on autopilot, seeking the next hit on the dopamine train. This pattern of instant gratification then leads me into not wanting to exercise because I don't see the instant benefits of it, and it seems like a daunting task. But deep down, I know this will make me feel better, and the results will come with time. When I was trying to learn my language, I would be good at the start, but eventually give up. When trying to exercise and eat healthy, I'd eventually give up. My ancestors didn't have the same problems that we have. They didn't have fast food. They actually had to work for their food every day and provide for themselves. Now we can have food delivered to our door from the comfort of our couch. They didn't have cell phones that cause massive kinks in their necks, not to mention anxiety. They didn't have alcohol or drugs to numb the pain, shopping addictions, etc. Our lives are easier than ever, but yet we have more mental and physical problems than any other time in history. Maybe we can learn from our ancestors and become more present and do the things that have positive impacts on our lives. So if I'm going to do this docuseries, I need to make some big changes in my life. I can't constantly be on my phone scrolling and doing things that are comfortable and easy most of the time. I've been trying to find solutions to this problem, and the thing that keeps coming up is a dopamine detox. You're probably wondering what a dopamine detox is. Well, it's where you avoid dopamine triggers for a period of time. The more often we engage in activities to trigger those pleasure centers in our brain, such as checking our phones, watching TV, drinking alcohol, sexual activity, smoking, gambling, etc., the more we create a dopamine deficiency. And then we need more and more dopamine to feel normal. There are plenty of ways to do this, but here are the rules I'm going to implement. So for the first day, I'll be really strict, and then moderately strict for the rest of the week. What's not allowed? No phone, computer, or TV for the first day, and then no social media or TV for the rest of the week. I still need my computer to do my job. No music, only binaural beats for the full week. No sexual activity of any kind for the full week. What is allowed? Using my cameras to document it, meditating, listening to binaural beats, exercising, reading, and journaling. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Today's day one of the dopamine detox, and so far it's been pretty good. Haven't jumped on my phone first thing and watch any TV or anything like that, but I'm gonna drink some coffee, maybe meditate for a bit, and then I'm gonna head into the pool, do some laps, and then get a workout in. But yeah, today should be interesting to see what I fill my day with instead of being on my phone, watching TV. Maybe I'll read a book. Who knows, maybe go for a walk. In some dopamine detoxes, you can't have coffee, but it ain't habit for me. It makes me feel some kind of way, almost like that holy spiritual way when the coffee beans course through my veins. Feel like I'm connected to Mother Earth. That's pretty good, by the way. Oh, good job, good job. Oh, hey, ha, hey, ha. So today's been pretty interesting. I went to the pool, did 1,000 meters swim, and then went to the gym, did legs and back. And it was a little different not having my phone and listening to music, just alone with my thoughts in between sets. But it was actually really, really good. And now I'm just up on the mountainside, going for a quick hike up the hill close to my house. Something that I've noticed is that I keep having this urge to reach for my phone. Whenever I'm bored, I finished eating, I was just drinking my coffee, and I had this urge to reach for my phone. And it's actually pretty bad because it was a constant urge. Now, after a while, I'm slowly realizing I can't do that. So earlier, after I finished breakfast, I just read a book, and I never want to read. But I feel like since I'm bored, I don't have this like a phone or TV to watch. I am doing other things to fill my time. And I have all these ideas and of what I want to do during this week, like some things that I want to accomplish. I want to read more. I want to get outside more on the land. I want to finish the renovations on my house and clean my house and clean up the yard for spring cleaning. But I never have these thoughts when I'm always on my phone or watching TV, because I'm never bored. And that's something that's I'm starting to realize. I had all these goals, and even making these videos kind of seemed like daunting, and I didn't know how I was going to go about it. But now that I have so much time in the day, it seems like without being on my phone or watching TV, I can just do these videos because it's something I look forward to fill my time. And yeah, it's been good so far, and I'm really excited to see how this week goes by, not going to my phone all the time, But it's nice to get out of the house, get this fresh air. It's finally starting to look like spring here. The snow is melting. Here, I'll give you an idea what my view looks like. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I can get used to this. And another thought I've been noticing, and you're probably thinking, whoa, this guy's just woke after 5 hours of not being on his phone. But another thing that I've been noticing is sometimes it feels like we need to just reboot ourselves and get away from mindlessly doing things throughout the day, or like mindlessly scrolling on our phones for hours and turning the TV on because you're bored. There's so many other things we can be doing with our time, and I'm starting to realize that. But I'm really excited to see how this week unfolds and see what I learn about myself, and see if this is something that I want to implement into my life. Maybe once a month, where I go like a day or two without being on my phone or watching TV. Maybe every other month, and go a week without those things. But so far it's been really good, and I feel like I have a lot of goals that I want to accomplish again. And I feel like I have so much free time during the day. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. So this day has gone by really slow. After my hike, I came home and read part of a book. And then when I got bored with that, I went to my parents' house to talk with them. And they were watching TV and whatnot, so I sat in the kitchen and was talking to them from afar. And I had this constant urge to check my phone because there would be silence in between what we were talking about. And I felt a little uncomfortable sitting there in silence, which is really weird. Like, you'd almost think you wouldn't feel uncomfortable being alone with just your thoughts. And it's weird that I have this constant urge to check my phone when I'm spending time with my loved ones and not being present, you know? And it almost feels like I'm having withdrawals from electronic devices or watching TV, which is kind of weird. I never thought of myself as being addicted to social media or watching TV. But I'm really looking forward to what this week has to offer. I'm starting to see how much time I actually have in the day when I'm not just mindlessly scrolling on my phone or watching TV. I have so much time to accomplish my goals, move a little bit further with my goals, possibly practice my language, learn my language, the Insilkchin language, spend time with my family members and be present. There's so much time in the day. And when you're bored, you really realize that there is a lot of time. And sometimes maybe it's good to feel uncomfortable with being bored and sitting in silence. I feel like that's something that I need to do a little more of. And maybe, who knows, after this experience, maybe I will do this once a month for a day or a couple of days, or every other month do it for a week. Who knows? Maybe after this week, I won't want to have social media back on my phone for a while. But so far it's been good. There's a lot of thoughts running through my mind. And yeah, maybe I need to meditate more, but who knows? So far so good. Let's see how this day continues and how this week goes. Yeah. My name is Ryan Oliverius. This is episode 2 of Decolonizing Wellness, the Dopamine Detox. And this is my lovely partner and co-host,
Shayla Rain.
So we'll just get started in this.
What do you think was the hardest part of the dopamine detox?
I think the hardest part of the dopamine detox was the first day. I didn't realize how I would turn to my phone when I felt bored. And there's this constant urge to just check my phone. I don't even know why I was checking my phone half the time. It was just mindless action. I would just grab my phone, out of my pocket, and I'd start scrolling when there's so much happening in front of me. I could be having a conversation with you. I could be having a conversation with my family. I could be working on decolonizing wellness or doing things that are important, with my job and stuff like that. But I was just mindlessly grabbing my phone and then I'd have to start scrolling because I was bored. And that first day I really realized how often I would go to my phone, or I'd want to go turn the TV on because I was bored. And I was like, what am I going to do with myself? I don't know what to do. And I didn't realize how long the days were. And we take that for granted when we're always on our phones or watching like TV and stuff like that. And we're like, oh, we don't have enough time in the day to do what we want to do to reach our goals. But after that first day, I was like, wow, we have a lot of time in the day. So I was just like trying to read. I would meditate. I went for hikes up in the mountain and stuff like that. And we went for a swim and whatnot. And there's a lot of time in the day. Could you imagine if we took full like responsibility for our time and we actually organized our day so that we could reach our goals, like how further we could be in our lives if we didn't have like these distractions in our lives just because of that dopamine. We don't even know why we're doing it, just to get that dopamine fix, you know?
Yeah, well, when you check your phone, like, say you get like, you see something funny, or you get a like, a reaction, a message, it like sends dopamine signals to your brain. And then dopamine is fast acting. It's immediate. It instantly makes you feel good. And then it rises up and then it crashes. And then like, that's why we keep checking our phone for no reason, even though we know that there's probably nothing new on there. We keep checking it because our brains are addicted to the dopamine. It's instant gratification. And one big thing that I learned on this was, you know, what you said, like the best things in life don't come easy. Delayed gratification has it's harder to work for. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of effort, but the rewarding feeling, it lasts so much longer. And I find it more intense too.
So that kind of leads into our next question. You were kind of touching on that. Like, what were the major takeaways from this detox for you?
I think my major takeaway was it's easier to focus on my tasks now. Like with my studying and stuff, I feel like I just have more energy, and like I know where to put my energy now, and it's so much easier for me to focus on the stuff that's right in front of me instead of constantly checking my phone. And I find that like my anxiety levels are much lower too. It's yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen that with you as well. Your ability to like focus on things that you're doing. I feel like I'm the biggest distraction in your life when you're trying to study and whatnot, and I'm just bugging you, trying to get your attention. But yeah, some of the biggest takeaways for me is like dopamine detoxes can help build healthy relationships. Like you have all these people in your life and it helps you be more present with them as well. And I've noticed my ability to listen better. And like you said, just easier to focus at tasks at hand. Yeah, I feel like my anxiety levels have went down as well. And I can just hold a conversation with somebody. I used to have social anxiety, especially with COVID. If like a stranger would talk to me, I would almost like feel anxious and thinking about what the next thing I want to say. What do I want to say? What do I want to say? Like, how do I impress this person? And then I just started listening. And I can have a conversation with somebody without having to impress them with who I am, but rather just listen to them, be present, and just ask them questions about them, because people are interesting. If you can just like have the time to talk about somebody else and like get to know them rather than impress them, then like I feel like those conversations go a long way. And I've noticed that was some of the biggest takeaways with after doing the dopamine detoxes. My anxiety levels have went down a lot.
How do you say? I feel less worried to show how awesome my life is, you know.
Yeah, this is our lives, right? We don't need to impress other people. We want to live our lives how we want to live them, right? Do you know how beautiful that would be if you could just live the life that you want to live? And I feel like stepping away from social media and whatnot, we can really live the life that we want to live and not look at other people's lives and be like, oh, I wish I had that, you know? And really like look in deep and like figure out what you want in life. But yeah, it's been good, and I'm glad I did it. And it's one of those things that I think I want to do almost every month. I want to step away from social media and TV like a couple times a month, you know? But that leads me into my next question. After we did the dopamine detox, we vacationed to Hawaii, to Honolulu. And what were the things that you noticed, like after that week of stepping away from all that stuff? What did you notice around you, like the people around you and whatnot?
I noticed that a lot of people are glued to their phones even when they're on vacation.
Hmm.
And it was my first time in Hawaii. It was my first time flying overseas, and so I was so excited. And I was I'm so excited. Like I get to see all this stuff. I get to experience this stuff. And then like seeing like me there all eager and like really soaking in everything, and then like just coming off of the dopamine detox and not really having an urge to go on my phone. I noticed how glued everybody else was to their phone. Like when
Hmm.
we went for that hike at Diamond Head, people like how many times did we almost get run into because people were
There was a lot of
walking?
times they were just like
Yeah.
walking with their phone and they weren't looking around them. They're trying to film it or take pictures to show like everybody, like I guess on their social media, like look where I'm going, look what I'm doing right now. And they, it's almost like a way to like show off and say, look what I'm doing, you know? And even when we're on the beach, remember when we were sitting there and we were just enjoying it? I had my phone on airplane mode, so I didn't even go on it. It was useless to be on my phone because I couldn't check anything. I could use the camera feature and I barely did that. Like only if I wanted to capture something that we can look back on, because we have a photo book that we print off these photos and we add it to our book. So like I would take photos here and there for stuff like that. But the people sitting beside us, like they had their towels over their head and they sat on their phone underneath their towels, crouched and just like on their phone, and they didn't even like look up. They didn't even jump in the ocean and like enjoy the sun, get that vitamin D. It's crazy. Why would you travel to a place like that just to sit on the beach to be on your phone when you can be at your phone like other places? I think nowadays like human beings have a hard time being present. And I used to be one of those people where I couldn't even be present. It was being present sounded like something that only like monks and gurus and stuff like that did, not just the I don't know. You know where I'm getting at?
Yes, yes, 100%. And I was being a little nosy. I was like looking at them and like trying to like see in that one person who was like had their towel over and everything. They were like on their phone, and then they lifted their phone up, took a picture, wrote. So I don't know if they're adding to their story that they were like at the beach or something like that, but that was like the only time that they really looked up was to take a picture, then went back down onto their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we went snorkeling and everything, when we saw
The turtles.
the turtle, as soon as that turtle came up, like it felt like the world stopped around me and we were just like
Mm-hmm.
looking at each
It
other.
was
And
so massive.
it was huge, and I'm so glad that you were able to get a picture of it with the
Yeah, we had the disposable camera, that waterproof one. We were taking photos with that,
and
and some
then
people were
yeah.
like videoing and selfieing while they're in the water and they're missing. You would see a turtle come up behind a group of people, but they're sitting there on their phones, and then it does come up, then go back away, and they're there to see these turtles, but they're sitting there selfieing and whatnot.
That was so funny. After we were done snorkeling and we were sitting on the boat, I looked out and like this big group of like people, they have like their phones out, they're like recording and they're like, yeah, we're snorkeling. Like I don't even know, like 5 feet behind them, the big turtle just has its head up, breathing out for air, and nobody sees it, and then just goes back down because they're
Mm-hmm.
too busy taking photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, so I'm really glad we did the dopamine detox the week before we went to Hawaii because I felt so present and I really enjoyed that trip, especially after not being able to travel with COVID and being able to be free for just a little bit. And we were able to just do so much in that short amount of time that we were there, like 6 days. And we rented mopeds and we like cruised around the island and just did all those different things. We saw as much as we could. We walked so much, like 20,000 steps a day. It was crazy. And we got to go surfing and just really enjoy all those things. And I'm glad we did it before. And yeah, and I'm glad that we can move into this docu-series in a good way, feeling present, feeling good. And I feel like we maybe have to do a couple more of these while we're doing this docu-series over the next few months. Maybe we should step away just to feel good. I feel like it helps balance us.
From my opinion, moving forward, the way I view social media now after this dopamine detox is that it's basically a rat race for like performative stuff, like to see like how many likes you can get, to see how much you can stunt and everything. And like it just feels like that stuff just doesn't matter. There's so much more to life than what's on this little box that you're looking at. Like look up, pay more attention. I feel like I'm so much more present now, especially when we go on our walks. And I feel like if we didn't do this dopamine detox and we didn't start like paying more attention to like being present to our surroundings on our walks, we wouldn't have been able to see those eagles. Remember like all those eagles that were dropping their twigs and stuff?
Yeah, and like those immature eagles, and they're swooping down, and then there's like the 9 eagles flying around. That was pretty amazing. And as Indigenous people, when we see eagles, it's an amazing moment when you see those eagles soaring up in the sky. Even when you're driving, you won't be looking at the road anymore. You'll be looking at that eagle. That's how important eagles are in our culture, and the blessings. Yeah. Risk your life just to see an eagle while you're driving down the highway. Oh,
it's our ancestors looking down on us.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on episode 3.